If you're reading this, it's because I need someone, anyone, to believe me. Not forgive, not pity, just believe. I'm leaving this journal here in the rectory cellar, behind the rusted furnace where the stone crumbles and the air stays cold, even in July. I know someone will find it eventually, and by then it won't matter what they think of me. But the bell, it does matter what they do with the bell. I first came to Ashwood in 1983, freshly assigned to a dying town nestled in the Appalachian hills. It had once been a booming mining community, but now only a few hundred people remained, ghosts, with skin. The town's small chapel stood like a mausoleum, weather-beaten, half-forgotten, its steeple tilting westward as if trying to collapse into the past. I was 29, eager to make a difference. I thought I could breathe life back into the place. But Ashwood didn't want to be revived. The people were courteous but distant. They filled the pews each week out of obligation, maybe superstition. No one lingered afterward. Children never came. No one invited me for dinner or even smiled long. There was an air around the town, like something had settled into its bones and refused to leave. Then I found the bell. It was buried beneath stacks of rotted hymnals in the chapel's cellar, hidden behind a crumbling brick wall. The crate was ancient, the wood eaten through by time. Burned into the front was a single word: Ashwood. Inside, wrapped in yellowing cloth, was a bell no larger than my palm, made of dull silver, etched with strange symbols. The handle was carved from ashwood, smooth with wear. The moment I touched it, the air in the cellar turned cold. Not figuratively, actually cold. I could see my breath. I told myself it was just the draft from the broken window. I took the bell upstairs and set it on my desk. That night, I woke to the sound of it ringing. It was soft, distant, like it came through walls and years. When I turned on the light, the bell hadn't moved. I checked the doors and windows, all locked. The next morning, I asked Mr. Harrow, the old man who maintained the grounds, if he knew anything about it. He froze mid-step. "You found it," he said, voice dry. "What is it?" "The bell. It was hidden for a reason. They told the last one to get rid of it, but he didn't." He wouldn't say more, just shook his head and whispered something that stuck with me. Ashwood remembers. That phrase haunted me. I went looking. In the chapel's back room, behind a filing cabinet, I found a packet of letters, yellowed and cracked from the 1890s. They were written by one of my predecessors, a man named Elijah Cobb. His writing started formal but unraveled into desperation. He described a strange artifact found during a mine collapse, a silver bell with symbols no one could read. He wrote of whispers during gatherings, of children who wandered off and came back mute, of shadows, moving in the pews. He begged whoever read the letter to destroy the bell. The letter had never been sent. It had been hidden in a drawer, sealed with wax. One line was underlined over and over: "It does not ring with sound. It rings with memory." I began to understand. I dreamed of tunnels, not metaphors, literal mine shafts, slick with moisture, shored with rotting timber. Men chanted in forgotten dialects. I saw things no human eye should have seen, but somehow I remembered them. Sometimes I'd wake with dirt under my nails. One morning, there were muddy footprints from the cellar to the altar. My hand started trembling when I passed the bell. I began avoiding it. I locked it in a drawer, only to find it resting on my windowsill the next day. I started researching. Everything: ritual tools, local folklore, tree symbolism. Ashwood, ash, was sacred to older beliefs. The bell might have been something ancient, older than the town. Maybe even older than the land settlements. I rang it only once. I don't know what came over me. One night, exhausted and half-mad from weeks of sleeplessness, I sat in the pews with the bell in my hand. "What do you want?" I asked it. Then I rang it. There was no sound. Instead, something shifted. The air bent. Shadows leaned in. I felt a snap in my chest, like a chain yanked tight, and suddenly I remembered. I remembered digging under the earth. I remembered timber snapping, the weight of stone, my lungs collapsing, screaming. A shaft ceiling shut above me like a closing eye. When I woke up, I was in the belfry. My hands were bleeding, my fingernails torn. The bell sat beside me, gleaming like it had been polished. After that, the townspeople stopped coming entirely. They crossed themselves when I walked by. Some muttered prayers I didn't recognize. I was certain I heard my own name whispered in voices not their own. Mrs. Langford, the choir director, vanished. Her house was empty. Her bed unmade. She left behind a journal with one sentence repeated for 5 pages. The bell showed me what I am. I stopped pretending. I didn't need the chapel or the sermons. I only needed the bell. It became my anchor. I held it as I slept. I stopped eating. My skin lost color. My thoughts weren't always mine. I could recite the names of miners who'd died over a century ago. I could describe rooms in homes long gone. And I began to crave it. Not the knowledge, but the feeling. The bell didn't speak. It remembered. And it poured those memories into me. I became a vessel for the town's grief, its shame, its long-forgotten truths. I didn't resist. I loved. Love can rot, though. Devotion can fester. I was no longer myself. Just one echo among many. One more name scratched in the margins of old letters. The bell fed on me, and I welcomed it, and now I know the truth. Ashwood was never just a town. It was a memory made real. It feeds on the past, on guilt, on buried stories. The bell is its voice, and it calls to those who listen. I've hidden it, again, in the cellar, behind stone and rust and time. But it won't stay buried. Someone will find it. Someone always does. If you're holding it now, if you're reading this, don't listen. Don't ring it. Don't even touch it. If you hear it start to ring, leave this place. Do not look back. Ashwood remembers.